Unlike Ivan, I don't tell jokes before we start to play, so that we can all look dignified and in repose when the session starts. But unlike Ivan and unlike Eloy, I also tend to call people in the middle of their night and say, "Hey, I suddenly have all kinds of time free. Let's play." And they're kind enough to join in. So after some rapid fire messages, I dropped a pitch on them, which you can see in the title is Sky Riders and the Mist Pirates, a Venus Chronicle serial, which will take us way back in time when media events were a whole lot more fun, a whole lot more ambivalent about explaining who the characters were, where they were going, and why stuff was happening. And so, without further ado, I would just like our two players to introduce themselves, their channel, that's a sentence, and the outrageous name of their character, and then we'll get underway. Eloy, why don't you go first?
Sure. Hi, I'm Eloy Sintron. I go by Umbramancer in the YouTube channel, so you can look for that. And I play with these guys regularly now, so that's the deal. So I will be playing Rex Zoltan, captain in the Venus Marines, I guess. I don't know. And do I describe the guy, or we take care of that later?
I'll take care of that later.
Sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, hey kids, this is Ivan. Yeah, you know me. So anyhow, let's see. Who am I playing today? I'm playing Cutscene Briggs. He's just kind of a blowhard. he's a sky rider. He's a pirate. He's a mist rider. He's a good time guy.
He's all things to all people, I guess. All right. Ivan, I'm noticing your volume is a bit low.
Right. I'm not sure if I can bring that up or not.
Well, if you lean in like that, that's awesome.
Okay. I'll do that.
All right. This will be using the Ubiquity Roleplaying System, and we have put together characters that are more advanced than what we typically see, around where you'd be after about, I don't know, 6 months, 8 months of play. And it's just for fun, just a one shot, and let's begin. So, gentlemen, today was a very, very happy day, which of course has turned bleak and dark and ominous. Your life has come crashing down around you. There you were with your beautiful brides to be for a double wedding, best friends since childhood, standing before the altar as the priest prepared the vows. You were this close to bonding together with your true loves forever. When the lights went out, smoke filled the entire cathedral, the Sky Cathedral, and the central horizon point of Venus, where all of your associates in the Venusian Lancers had come to witness this happy day. But as the cathedral walls crumble around you, as the anti-gravity drive begins to fail, as your friends, your relatives, your family begin to fall through the toxic mists of Venus, you catch a glimpse through the blackening, swirling fog of Outran's huge airship and his swirling mist of Skyrider fighter ships as they haul away a fat net of human cargo, including your lovely brides-to-be. Shaking off the stun, you're able to give chase before the floor gives way, dropping you to the inimical surface of Venus below.
Briggs, the pirates have taken our brides. Quick, to the Sky Riders.
Lita! No! I'm running. I look, Mom, Dad, they're falling to the... Never mind, Lita! Running to
Racing to your Sky Riders, a narrow tube with footrests and broader hand rests. You're able to launch yourself into the air as the ship forms itself around you in a crackling discharge of energy.
Got
What
it.
do we see?
So, Rex is wearing the uniform of the Venusian Lancers, the black boots, white pants, and red coat with golden scroll work and insignia markings. He's lost his cap in the scramble. So, clean-shaven face, short cropped golden hair, lightning blade at his side, and pistol. And as he grabs the controls of the Skyrider, it materializes in sort of the regiment colors, right? So it's mostly white, red, and gold with a golden bird-like shape. A Venusian phoenix is the symbol on his Skyrider as it blasts off in pursuit.
Right. Just behind him, because he has not lost his hat. It was coming off, but he's not going to lose the hat. Cutscene is running as fast as he can, grabs the hat, jumps on his tube, his rider materializes around him, and it's from his clan, so it's more of a gray with this like obscene glowing green manta ray on it and lightning bolts, which matches the uniform that he was wearing. He wasn't really wearing the uniform of the Venusian Lancers because he wore more of his clan uniform, so it's gray with these ridiculous glow green pinstripes, and the hat itself has just these I forget what it's called, but these little things. It's almost like the Roman Legionnaire.
Plume.
The ridiculous sort of plume. The glowing green ostrich feathers, and so you're not going to lose that. I mean, it's one of a kind. Beautiful. But yes, jumping on there and kicking this thing into high gear, running at, flying after Rex as fast as possible. And
so as the ships solidify, as they spread their wings around you and harden, crystallize out of pure energy released from the tubes and the presence of your own fearily beating hearts, the acceleration just rockets you and seats you firmly in as if the ship itself is a part of your own skin. And way down below, as you watch the crumbling mass of the cathedral disappearing into the mist, you can see a disturbed flock of the aerial Venusian mantas peeling off in their startled green colors, maybe a herald of disaster or maybe a good omen. And up ahead of you, disappearing into the mist, is the airship, a long cylindrical, bloated, horribly customized. It has iron welded to it, has chains dragging from it. It has rough cockpits and turrets everywhere, bulging out almost like eyes, with these probing blaster cannons everywhere to ward off pursuit. And of course, the swarming mist of his own aerial Skyrider band. Your ships are fast, and you quickly close with them. But, gentlemen, what are your tactics?
There is a cloud of fighters all around, so we got to get to the ship. I don't know. We got to maybe draw them off.
Good idea. Draw the fires off. I'll save Lita.
Yeah, I'll try and draw them off. You go straight for the ship. So I will engage the nearest fighters and start, moving through them. See if I can draw their attention and
Excellent.
take them off of Briggs.
Your twin lightning cannons come online, one on each wing.
Mm-hmm.
And initiative, gentlemen, now that you have a plan.
I don't know if that's much of a plan, but Yeah.
Yeah, hey, it's us. That's as much of a plan as you're going to get. So,
that is 2 on 6 dice array.
That is 3. Yay!
All right. Well, this pirate band who strikes like lightning, leaving nothing but fear and crying in its wake, is going to be able to enact its plans first.
Uh-oh.
All right. So, boiling away from Outran's airship, a wing of black rough, scavenged-looking Skyriders peels away, barreling right in, choosing a target. And of course, they're choosing the blazing, arrogant green. And they open fire with their shrapnel guns, which emit or vomit a bulbous spray of steel fragments, ball bearings, and splinters of steel, which will shred a Skyrider if you are hit.
Excellent. I don't want to get hit.
All right, then. Perhaps it would be time to form an aerial maneuver. Could I have a piloting check, please,
Absolutely.
as your... If you would like to dodge.
Yeah, that is exactly what I'm going to do.
Otherwise, we will just use your normal defense, as the ship has become a part of you.
Right. Well, they are identical as far as I understand. Piloting airships, and I don't think there's a specialization on this guy at all. So I think I'm just rolling 6 dice no matter what. I'm just double checking here, and
the only
yes,
difference
yes.
then would be, of course, that dodge would prevent you from having an attack action, but of course would award you more defense, going for a total defense.
Right, I think that's a good idea in this case with
Total
shrapnel. Yeah, total defense. Right. So that is, how much is that adding me? It's been a while since I've actually used a dodge. It's giving me 4 more dice. Or really? Oh, okay, that's splendid. I don't think I've ever dodged anything. You know, being Philippe Moreau, you never usually have to dodge.
Well, now would be a good time.
Yeah.
As they coordinate their attack and working together in teamwork, fire, and
that's actually average. 7.
That's good, because their average is 6.
That's good.
There's a huge flat crack as the shrapnel cannon erupts, and you're narrowly missed by this dangerous cloud of shredding material, which disappears into the mist behind you. They peel off around you.
Ripping around this cloud of material.
All right.
Nails. Ridiculous.
Rex?
Good job, Briggs, drawing their attention.
You're supposed to draw their attention.
I wheel around and jockey for position to line up a shot. Now that they're all focused on the manta ray, I'll figure I'll try and thin the opposition with my lightning cannons.
Cool. You can see some other fighters peeling off to join the chase of Briggs Manta Skyrider, and there are many targets open, swirling all around the upper quadrant of Utran's airship. Are you going to attack them from behind or from the front?
Ideally from behind, and try and see if I can clear a way through to the airship. You know, open a corridor in there.
There is a superior breed of Skyrider closer to the ship with a clear color scheme, glistening black with red piping. And you know that these are Utran's personal, guard, and they're keeping position over what is probably the command center on Utran's bridge.
Yeah.
While the others are kind of just swarming around randomly and raucously calling out their clan sign. Pirates.
So Briggs seems to have the rest of the opposition in hand. So I will try and clear that guy so that I can line up an approach to the command bubble canopy thing.
Right.
So so that's what I'm going to do.
Okay. That is your gunnery.
Ooh, my magnificent gunnery skill of 4 plus what's the damage on the
5.
Do I add the damage dice? Would be 5.
Yep.
Okay, so 4 and 5 is 9 dice. Here we go. Oh God, that's not good. 3, 5, 5, 3, 5, 4 successes. 4 successes.
All right. 4 successes is pretty good. You needed 3.
Nice.
This only does superficial damage to the craft, though, as your lightning arcs across the back of their Skyriders. But as you do so, now they know that you're coming at them out of the sky from behind, and they peel off to use team tactics against you, and opening, incidentally, you up to return fire from Utran's craft. So all kinds of flak begins to erupt off of the top surface of the ship, requiring you, sir, to defend.
So I just attack. So I can only do a plain defense, right?
Right, this is your normal defense, and you're going to be attacked 3 times. So this is going to be decreased by 2 each time.
So I rolled 3 times. I can't remember how this goes.
You're going to roll.
And then,
Attack. You have 3 successes incoming.
oh, okay. Okay, so the roll for defense is actually a 4 for successes.
Okay, now take 2 dice away.
Uh-oh. And roll again.
Yep.
2 successes.
Kraft takes some damage, rocking as his wing is shredded by shrapnel, and take 2 dice away.
Oh my God. Come on, come on. Yes, 2 successes on 2 dice. 6 and a
Again,
2.
you take damage. Another rocking of the craft, but it holds together magnificently. A brief ray of sun lights through the cloud, glinting across the gold of the phoenix, and you shoot across the front, the bow of the ship. Of course, on the front is this huge bloated skull face with half-rotted flesh and his mailed fists. Utran wants the world for himself. It's painted across the front of the ship, and you can see the command deck with its huge rusted glass panes of armor glass behind you as you make your strafing run, or you complete your strafing run. And the turrets are beginning to be cranked around by the pirate crew to follow your passage. Meanwhile, in the mist, Briggs, you have 4 on your tail.
Right. I gotta lose these guys, Rex. I'm gonna dive down further in the mist. I'm assuming the mist gets like thicker and thicker the farther down we go.
It does. Yeah. But at a certain point, it also becomes ground.
That's fine. I'm gonna trick them into flying to the ground, so I'm flying straight down, trying to get these guys to follow me right down, and then pulling up. That's my
okay.
That's my amazingly incredible tactic.
All right. Do you have any deception or other skills of that ilk? Con?
I do have con and bluff. Yeah, as well.
Yeah.
Con with specialization in bluff. Yeah.
Well, let's synergize then the best of the 2, piloting and con, whichever gives you the better die pool.
Yeah, they're identical. Yeah, so roll 8 dice instead of 6. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. I'm gonna roll my stylish French dice for this one.
Oh.
No, yeah. Still gave me all the success the last time, so I'm hoping this changes my life. Well, I got the average. 4.
Can't complain. All right. So describe for me how you're luring them down into the mist. What is your intention, and what do you hope that they will believe?
Wow, I gotta hope they believe that I've been hit a little bit. I'm making a run for some. So I'm kind of doing this like wounded duck thing as I'm flipping around, and I'm trying to our cannons only point front ways, I suppose. So yeah.
Sadly so.
Yeah, sadly so. That's okay. I'm not really going to try to shoot at him. I'm just really going to try to flip around a little bit, but just speeding after him as if just gosh, one more shot would take me out. Yeah.
All right.
I'm struggling to control the craft. My idea being just try to get him to follow me. And then
they'll
Are
think
you hoping
you're
that
hurt, so they'll line up behind you, and then you can zip
yeah,
up.
exactly. That's the plan.
All right. Got it. Very nice. So as you're rocketing down through the mist and it's streaming past your canopy, you get the sense, the Skyrider is in tune with your own mental processes. You get a sense of what's around it, and you can feel them orienting themselves behind you as they take your bait, they take your lure, and they're following you down into the mist. And likewise, Rex, as you're rocketing past the end of Utran's airship, you are feeling the pain in the craft. You can feel the damage it has taken, and the fact that it's interacting with the machinery in a way. The shrapnel is magnetically charged, and it's going to cause you problems. But when?
Okay, so is it my turn? Or
Sure.
Initiative again. Okay, it's my turn. Sounds like my turn.
Initiative hold.
Okay. So what I want to do is figure out if I can shoot the glass. I want to shoot the canopy. So I want to land my my Skyrider so I can drop into the deck and confront Utran. That's my overall master plan. So
totally possible if you can get through all the flack.
Yeah. So that's my strategy. That's what I want to do. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but that's my plan.
All right, well, give us an image. We got this sunlight streaming through the clouds, right? You've just shot over the top, and you want to loop around and come back. So
loop around and try and create an opening and land on the command deck.
Right
you
on.
missed that day in class in the Venusian Lancers, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't say he was a good Venusian Lancer. He said.
All right. So some of the random swirling sky pirates are coming up. There's a wing of two that have joined a rough formation with each other, and they're coming straight at you. And they will open fire. Okay. So that's 4 for incoming fire.
Okay. Wow. So I think I should do a dodge, because otherwise it's not looking good.
Well, you can do total defense. That will add 4 to your defense. Takes away your attack.
So if it takes away my attack, then I won't be able to do what I want to do. So
You'd still be able to land, but you won't be able to. Not at this time. They're basically in your way.
I could dodge right past them and try and land. Is that feasible, or do I need to attack it to land?
It's absolutely possible.
All right, so let's try that defense then. I'm missing a die. Let's grab any die, because this is Ubiquity. I can use any die.
That's right.
So here we go. So it's 4 on top of my defensive 6. It's 10 dice for the first attack. That'll be 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 successes on the first roll.
All right. And you just want to drop it right down right there?
Just see if I can either crash through the window or need to shoot the window or do something dramatic to go in there.
All right, give me a piloting roll. This will be difficulty of 3.
Difficulty 3.
That means nothing. You need to roll 4 or more successes to succeed.
Oh my God. So I got 6 dice for piloting. I'm going to use some style here.
Do it. Use a style. You guys have 3 style.
Yeah. I need 3 successes. So I'm thinking can I spend 2 style points at once? I can't remember if you can.
Spend as many as you want.
So I'll spend 2 on that.
Okay, 2 extra dice.
Yep. So here we go.
That might
Come
even be
on.
an additional success.
Come on, come on, come on. 1, 2, 3. 3 successes. On the
3.
dot. Yes.
3 successes gives you a 0 as your margin of success. All right. So, the wings flare.
Mhm.
As you try and bring it down to the control deck. Of course, the pirates have been swinging the turrets around to draw a bead on you. And as you slow down, you kind of line up and they open up and they begin to shred the wings clear off, leaving you plummeting through the air, holding onto the Skyrider's skeletal frame as you crash through the front window. The iron plating and all of the support structure to land on the deck, sliding in a twisted wake of broken glass and twisted steel.
Nice.
To see, Utron standing there with his huge wooden captain's wheel high up at the back of the bridge. And we cut to Briggs.
All right, cool. So there I am pulling back up. And how's this worked? I mean, these fellas still on my tail, or what's going on?
Still on your tail. You are maneuvering for position. They're firing.
Okay. I'm just gonna.
They're going to fire first because
Right.
You're slow.
Right.
All right.
I'm still.
You need
I'm still
to.
going for
They're not coordinating fire. They've all lined up as part of your trick. So only the opening, only the lead fighter is firing on you, and that's 2 successes.
Okay, excellent. Well, I am still going for total defense here. I'm really not even interested in attacking these guys. I'm trying to lose them. So that's what we're gonna do here, and that is 3 successes.
All right.
So just
Now
just
you're getting
6.
awfully low.
Right.
Getting awfully low. Maybe if you hold on a little longer, there'll be some kind of benefit, but that the sensors of the ship are screaming, pull up, pull up, pull up. If you'd like to persist, I'd like to see willpower to do so.
All right. Yeah.
Power times 2.
Oh yeah. I'll do that. 6 dice. Come on, baby. Just a little bit more. Just a little more. And that is a 4. 4 successes.
All right, you can hang on, but that might not be the smartest thing to do. What would you like to do? Another turn of descent?
Yeah, just another turn of descent. Get him to just a little bit more, guy. Come on. You got the shot. Yeah, just hang in there, buddy. Come on.
All right. I'm going to give 2 style out to Rex, and I'm going to give 2 style out to Biggs for this insane plan of attack.
Yeah, okay.
You're making the Venusian Lancers truly proud.
Okay.
All right. I need a piloting roll from you, Briggs.
Well, will this be just piloting with no con at this point, or are we going to still synergize with con, or what are we doing?
It's just going to be sure. Synergize with con. That's fine. However, there's a difficulty threshold of 2. If we go down into margins of failure, you may not like it.
Difficulty threshold to remind me.
Everything that you roll, you have to 2 takes away the first 2 successes disappear. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah, okay. I got these 5 style points here, and I don't want to die by crashing into the surface of Venus. So,
all right, I'm listening.
Yeah, I didn't use them all.
You're going to use all 5 style. Okay.
I don't want to crash the surface. I'm
5 extra dice on your roll.
Yeah, so that's a lot of dice here. Okay.
13, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Looks like 13 here. Okay, yeah.
That's a good number to roll.
It is. Take this a little bit here. Come on, baby. Let's see. That is 2, 3. Okay. It's been a long time since oh wow, this is great. I have 6, 7, 8. I have 9 successes. 9.
All right. That's pretty awesome. So what I would like for you to describe for us is you find yourself in a V-shaped canyon of a floating Venusian mountain. You're coming down into this V-shaped canyon. Not all of your pursuers are as agile or aware as you. What happens?
Well, I'm pulling up at the last second. I realize I'm there. I'm just hugging onto one of the sides of the canyon. You know, just hugging it like that kind of Mach 1 feel. We're just conforming to the geography of it. And I assume some of them are actually not being quite so successful. Some just fall straight in. Other ones are pulling up the last, realizing what's going on, but are just careening off one side, off the other. Pieces of the ship's flying off.
Right.
I'm just, as a scream of victory just, erupts out of me, which I won't make because I'll wake up my girlfriend. She'll kill me. Yeah. And things are
Except for 2 flat black with red piping who settle on your tail, and they are modeling your every movement as if they're reading your mind. The clouds are swirling behind your manta, right? Your glowing green manta insignia as you leave the end of this tumbling, levitating mountain and are back out into open mist again. And pretty far behind you now is the airship, and dangling underneath it, in its rough wire netting is your beloved, his beloved, your family, your friends, and who knows who else, maybe even the priest.
Right. And I'm gonna, at this point, I'm pulling back up. I'm gesturing to the men behind me and the ships behind me, to the transparent back window. But we'll leave that to the viewer's imagination, what the gesture might be.
But I'm not waving goodbye, I guess.
Yeah, you like that, didn't you? And now my plan is to pull straight up. Rex, things are going great down here. How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm on the ship.
Of course you're on the ship. What ship?
Rex draws his lightning blade as he gets up, hair slightly messed up, though his uniform is torn. Maybe a
Just
bruise.
exposed.
Yeah, exactly. The chest is exposed, a tear in the pants, on the thigh of the pants, and a bruise on his face. And he draws his lightning blade and says, "This is as far as it goes, Utron. Release your hostages."
Utron says, "Release the hostages? That sounds like a fantastic idea." And he lifts his fist, his mailed, spiked fist with this huge red gem button.
And I rush him, trying to stop him.
Initiative.
Release the hostages.
Poor choice of words. I rush him and try to tackle him. Is what
All right, give me an initiative roll.
God. 4, 5, and 6. Come on. Ooh. 4. That's pretty good.
That's nice. That's simultaneous with him, and it's better than his crew, who are all scattered around the edge, doing their crewly jobs.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you got enough movement to reach him. He's up on a higher elevation behind, with his wheel and his grandeur, and he's waiting for you. And so here's the deal: if you can get knocked back or stun or one of those things, if you can in some way prevent him then he won't hit the button. Otherwise, he does. If he's still able to function, because it's simultaneous, down they go.
All right. So,
What would you like to do?
well, it sounds like I narrated a charge, right? So he's like slamming into him as opposed to trying to run him through or anything.
Right on.
So I'm trying to knock him off. So that's a brawl, I suppose.
Well, yeah, brawn. Your brawl attack. Sure. Make a full. Would you like to throw caution to the wind and do total attack?
Yeah, and how much does that add? 2 or 4?
That adds 2.
It adds 2. And I think I'm going to blow all 3 of my style points because this is life or death for my beloved Vivian and the rest of the wedding guests. Yeah. So here we go. Uh-oh. 3. 4 successes.
Fortunately for you, Utron rules with an iron fist, but not a meaty arm. It's enough for knockback, and the 2 of you are now locked in a struggle.
Okay.
On top of the bridge, beside the wheel.
Cool.
Right. So we can imagine his spiked gauntlet is around your free hand.
Yeah.
And your sword arm is with his other arm. And,
okay. Yeah.
And the glowing red button is there, and he's just looking at the button. He's like,
Fantastic.
Meanwhile, the rest of the crew stands up and begins to close in, but they're hesitant to interfere in the fight, especially with blades drawn. And the crackling lightning energy is coursing up and down the length of your blade. And out of the corner of your eye, as your body is twisted in that position, you can see the glistening black Skyriders of his personal guard just rocket past the command screen window that you shattered on your dramatic entrance, as they're doing their pass around to finish you off, but you've finished yourself off. So, we cut back to Briggs.
Pointing straight up now, right towards that hideous bloated ship, and I'm zooming as fast as I can towards it. Thinking that I'm going to do. I have the same kind of idea. Do this kind of strafing run right for the front.
All right. Now you could press for extra speed, which would make you even harder to hit, but would also make it harder for you to control the craft.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm going to do.
All right.
So how many dice am I going to remove? Yeah.
You can add 2 to defense for every 2 you give up from your piloting.
Okay. Well then, yeah, that doesn't sound as good. But let's see. I got a piloting skill of 6 and a piloting skill of 4 kind of blows.
How hard can it be to land on an alien craft while being shot at?
Yes, I'm going to do that.
Don't be so negative.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Yeah.
All right. So as you come up from below, up through the mist, with the mist roiling around you, and these 2 Skyriders hot on your trail, just as I said, mirroring your every move, you can see the dangling wire net with its grappling hooks and its barbs and its twisted threads. And you can see arms and legs hanging out of the gaps in it. It's kind of dragging behind because of momentum behind the bulk of the craft. And it's just literally hanging in the toxic mist of Venus. No air protection, nothing. Right? No atmosphere, and the people inside, you see their skin is bubbling and boiling, and somewhere in there is Leah. Somewhere in there is Vivian.
Hopefully, like in the middle.
Hopefully.
boy. This is horrific. So I'm just flying, trying to stay away from the net itself so these guys don't crash into the net. And
Now there is a gondola underneath, and of course you know about the structures on top. So.
Gondola underneath. How big
Like
is
an
this
engineering bay underneath.
Yeah. Does it look like that's something like an entry point?
I mean, it wasn't designed for you to fly into it, but there's nothing really stopping you.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Just a couple of turrets.
Yeah, that's what I do. I'm gonna try to see if I can actually get in. Like, my plan is to kind of push my way into the ship and then get in.
Okay, you mean crash into the ship in an explosive ball of discharging energy.
Yes, well, it's crash, but it's artistic crash. It's it's crashing.
Think about how the fighters were made. This is totally possible for you to do.
Yeah, it kind of disintegrates, and then I kind of leap in and roll in.
Exactly,
Yeah.
if you time everything just right.
Yeah.
So underneath, you're going to do that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so underneath,
so.
the turrets are different, right? The pirates are hanging down in this wire cage, and they're pedaling with their feet to bring the guns to bear, and they're leaning with their body weight to change the angle, and they're trying to track you, but you're moving so fast. And can I have your defense, please?
Okay. Now, I'm assuming at this point, I can still go total defense and not really attack.
You can still go total defense.
That's good.
They're going to be firing at you 4 times, so that's full defense, then -2, -2, and then -2.
Okay, so I'm doing full defense, but I'm adding a couple dice for my enhanced speed here. So first of all, 6 plus 4 plus, so that's 12 the first time. Okay, it's enough dice. You need a dice tray. Which is, oh dear, that's horrific. That's 5. Well, I'm sorry, so that's 6. That's 6 successes, the average.
Okay, so you're missed on the first one. They're tracking behind you. The air is full of shrapnel. And Rex, you can hear, the discharge of guns, through, and feel it through the deck, as you're wrestling with Utron in the bridge.
Okay. This is 4.
Well, that's not as good.
No, it's not.
So the hide of your ship is scored with shrapnel, but you're still in motion.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking 2 more. Alrighty. One day pouring the speed. That is 4.
Again, ship's beginning to shake.
Fantastic. I think I took that Die Hard talent. Huh?
Good thing.
That is 2. That is 2 successes, less than the average of successes. That's 2.
2 successes. All right, so that's 3, and that causes the craft to shake violently and begin to de-resolve as you prematurely as you have your remaining piloting dice to try and hit the target that you wanted.
Right. Before. I have no style points because I used them all, but that's okay because that was really cinematic back then.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So now, feeling the pain of the ship. That would be 2. It's the average of 4 dice, but that's 2.
Hey!
There they are. Look at it.
With the last ergs of energy holding the ship together, you impact into the rusted, thin metal underbelly of Utron's vessel, blowing out the glass in all directions from this hanging engineer's gondola, where they can observe, the engines and the ground for landing. Just devastating this area in a detonation of energy, and hurling you, possibly stunned, unless you can give me a good roll on a resilience check of double your body.
All right. I don't suppose acrobatics helps me here. Okay.
It totally will help you here to absorb some of the pain. So let's make this an acrobatics check instead of the resilience check.
Alrighty, cool. Well, that gives me 6 dice, which is better.
If you have athletics, that can synergize.
Oh, good. Now we're rolling 8 dice. Now we're really cool. As I'm curling up into a little ball, and this is what I was hoping to do. Rolling.
Timing it just right, or not.
And that is 3 successes on 8 dice.
All right. Not quite enough to be without pain or injury. You take 1 lethal wound and are in this blazing wreckage of the under gondola, surrounded by the crying and the crawling and the mewling and the puking slaves who work down here below decks.
Excellent.
And from your vantage point, with the shattered windows all around you, and then the now swinging, barely connected engineering gondola, you can see down into the sizzling flesh of your wedding party as they hang down there in the iron net. And this is where the winch assembly is, but unfortunately it's knocked off kilter by the impact and will need to be repaired before they can be winched back up into the ship. But now they've started to spin because of the impact.
And I say something not suitable for
for a Saturday morning
for the channel.
But several words escaped me, as I realized.
Back up to the bridge.
Yes. So we're locked in this.
You're locked in combat, and you're in simultaneous. Right.
Yeah. So he's got my hand, I got his hand, and so I lift a leg and kick him in the chest, or at least I try to.
All right.
Try and separate us and maybe knock him back or something.
Very cool.
So that is just a plain brawl attack because that's all I have. So.
And he likewise is going to make a brawl attack, and to the victor will go the spoils. So if your roll is less than his, he throws you back on the red gem.
Oh, okay.
To release the hostages. If your roll is higher than his, you kick him for damage. So
okay, so let's try and give it some drama here. I don't know if this is gonna work, but there we go. Oh, that is exactly 1 success.
He's apparently waiting for you as you shift your weight, and he creates a false opening and scoops your leg as it comes in, releasing his hold on your sword arm, scoops your leg and throws you, and you can feel yourself going back on the stand.
Oh no.
As your back depresses the button, what goes through your mind and heart and soul?
Vivian!
This opens up a great opportunity for a cross. What do I can see this already. So I'm like, how do I fix the?
Oh no!
Across the ceiling, you can see the end point of the chain, all up on its drum, and you can hear click, 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 and then you hear a release, and now the thing starts to spin, and you have only seconds before the chain is completely unwound and they're in free fall. What do you choose to do?
I'm looking for any kind of piece of debris that looks like maybe something like a crowbar, but not quite. But same shape. You just kind of stick in that drum and stop it. Some suitable piece of metal. I'm sorry, man.
It's metal strut. It is not a crowbar.
It's a metal strut.
Stamped into the steel. You can see Grimaud Industries.
Hey man, what do you want?
All right,
that's what I'm doing. I'm just looking for anything I can just kind of stick in.
How would you like to approach the repair? I mean, obviously there's metal wreckage of all kind that you can use for this purpose. How would you like to approach the repair with some kind of technical skill or brute force, or fill me in? Let me know.
Yeah, I have no real technical skill of any kind in that regard, so it's going to be like brute force.
Or you're incredibly dexterous, or
I am. Yeah.
gifted with finesse, right? So let's go that route.
Yeah, it is kind of finesse. Yeah, we call it finesse attack, I suppose. You got to do that thing.
Fencing.
Just the right second.
Skewer it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. This is obviously not easy. I'm giving you a difficulty of 2.
Okay.
A threshold of 2. Right? So.
All right. All right. So we could call this maybe like a straight up fencing roll. You know,
Yeah, absolutely. That's all it is.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Cool. That's 7 dice then. All righty. Come on, baby. I'm just gonna put that in there. Oh yeah, that's like 6 successes.
6 successes. That's awesome.
That's an outstanding success.
So there you are. You've run it through the winch and slammed it into the wall, and you realize at the last second, as the impact hits, taking you in the chest, you take another, but this is a non-lethal wound.
What?
That you're going to have to stay here and hold it.
Excellent.
Now, echoing down from above, you hear the faint echo of someone's heart being rent asunder. You hear a name called out in anguish, which supplies 2 style to Rex and a style to you.
Nice.
Hooray. Just hold this now. Oh my God, they're killing him. Oh, Rex.
And just at this moment, Briggs, somebody tears the flaming door off the back of the engineering compartment where you are. They rip it off. And one of Utron's mutant thugs staggers into view. He's wearing his slave collar with its blinking red light of control. His eyes are totally white, no pupil, his head shaved, and he's tattooed with a number, not a name. He's all greased up, nude, green, and slippery. Just peels the metal door away. He sniffs the air for a moment, and he's entering the room. He cannot see you, but he can sense you with his nose, and he will find you.
Nice.
Meanwhile, on the bridge.
Is he armed? He's got
just like you are. He has pistol and sword, but he didn't have time to draw it. He was too busy being grandiose.
Oh, so I scream at him, "You murderous pirate! I'll make you pay for this!" And I lunge at him with the sword.
While he's unarmed?
No, okay, yeah, that's right. You murderous pirate, defend yourself! And I aim at him with my lightning blade.
2 style.
Yes.
He goes, "I know you, Rex. You know you cannot defeat me. You should join me." Brandishes his spiked glove, and sparks fly as his fingers clench, but his hand is moving toward his blade. He's going to fight you left-handed.
Ooh, nice. What do I say? I say, murderous pirate, you have no honor. Face me now here in front of your crew, and we shall see who is the better man.
All right. Can I have a perception check, please?
I have a 5. Here we go. Oops. 1, 2, 3 successes. 3 successes on 5 dice. And I have danger sense, just in case. Yeah.
And you have danger sense. I thought that was Briggs. I'm sorry. So your senses are screaming, right? He's been reaching for his blade with his left hand while he has his gauntleted fist up in the air. And you're able to clearly see the clench, and his fist erupts as the spikes are hurled out in a cloud of flaming smoke as he sends the shrapnel firing towards you. But you have your full defense available to you. You are not surprised or ambushed at all.
Nice. So I have a defensive 6, and
That should be enough.
Let's make it exciting again. Here we go.
Dice cam.
Dice cam. Hey, it's $19. I gotta use it. Oh no!
Wow.
You spent $19 on some dice to roll evens, dude.
Wow, that's a lot of ones.
It's a single success.
Yeah, I saw that. That's good.
You take 3 lethal from this cowardly attack.
Ouch!
You've been shot.
3 lethal. Health is 5. Ouch! I'm down to 2.
Is this higher than your strength?
3 is higher than my strength. Yes.
This knocks you back over the railing.
Oh.
That looks cool, though.
Yeah. Yes, it's like maybe he with the danger sense, he kind of, jumps back. Right? So he's partially trying to avoid it as he scrambles over the control deck where the button was. So, but he still takes damage.
All right. Can I have an acrobatics check to see how you wind up after being blown backward?
One, two. Oh, now I rolled 5 successes. Yeah.
Hey, it's a good time to roll them.
Yeah, 5 successes is 5 successes.
All right, so you started the description already, right? You've turned your body to go over. Remember his crew are around in their various crew positions, right? You got the shattered front window. How do you end up after being blown backwards by this cowardly shrapnel gun and severely wounded too?
So I think I go over the control surface, right? I stagger back, but I do land on my feet. Maybe I go down a couple of steps, and I'm back facing him with my sword still in hand.
Nice.
So, yeah, maybe the shattered window is behind me, right? Or something.
Yeah. With another flare of sunlight, but now that it's turning a darker red to match the shreds of your uniform. The red stain spreads across your shoulder. All right. Now with this gap between you of a good 10 feet, he holds his position. He slowly draws his sword with his left hand. And he says, "You want to duel me, Rex?"
He says,
"Face me like a man, like a Venusian lancer." And he points out on the deck, right? Exposed in the toxic Venusian atmosphere.
So he wants me to go out into the atmosphere is corrosive. It's bad for us.
It's totally bad for you. So we're inside the craft, and the atmosphere is fighting with the huge shattered window that you've created. He's saying, "Let's go out on the top deck of the craft and fight like men. Either Venus will claim us, or we will claim victory over the other." And we cut back down to the engine room. So the huge hulking mutant, the blind mutant, is sniffing the air and feeling its way along the walls, creeping ever closer to your position, Briggs.
Oh, man. So I'm holding this thing. If I let go with one arm, I'm trying to grab my blaster. Let's see if I can pop this guy.
All right, let me have a purely strength check.
Okay.
Strength times 2.
All right. Yep. 4 dice here. Okay. Yeah, I think I just probably just hold this while I do that. Yeah, it's 2 successes.
Oh no! It's enough, but it slides back. Right. You just have one arm. It's pushed you back 2 feet. You're able to draw your blaster, but that's a whole action.
Yeah.
And it hears the sound of the ratcheting, sliding chain, and its head turns around. Spittle drooling from its huge fat lips, and its blind white eyes are just rolling, and it sniffs.
Hey, 752, I bet you're not strong enough to hold this bar.
Then it puts both of its hands together over its head to bring down in a double smash. Initiative.
Double Kirk. In a double Kirk.
Yeah. Okay, initiative, great. Yeah, well, that's perfect. And that is 3. Okay, good. I get the average.
3. All right. You are going first.
Fantastic. Well, I do the only thing you could do in a situation like this. I'm going to shoot him.
Okay.
That's what I'm doing. Thank goodness I bought a lot of these dice.
But you're going to have a negative modifier of 2 because of the awkward, uncomfortable situation.
Okay. Well, that's fair. That's fair. Well, awkward, uncomfortable. It's just incredibly painful. Untenable.
You're burned, battered, bruised, and hanging on for dear life, while your loved ones are being acidically eaten alive, dangling below you.
Yeah, we'll get this. We'll just figure this out. I just have to shoot this guy. Oh, wow, that's fantastic. That's 4 successes. 10 dice. 4.
Yeah, that's okay. You remembered the damage of the weapon?
I did. So I put it all.
Okay.
I was supposed to be rolling 12 dice, and I did it down to 10, and I rolled 4.
Okay, so you did 4.
Yeah, 4.
However, his defense gives him 4.
Yeah.
So this is a narrow miss. You can see it that your shot cuts a line through the flesh of his bicep, but then impacts against the wall of the craft before it detonates, releasing its charge of held energy, which lifts him off his feet, blows out the back of the gondola, and sends him crashing forward into the winch where you are. And the whole place shakes and drops. One side of the struts of the place dropping away, and now you're hanging from the gondola with him, and he's flailing around. Right.
Hanging from the gondola. That's good.
Yeah.
Just where I want it to be. Yeah. You've got him where you want him now.
I got him exactly right where I want him. Just holding onto this bar. Got him in my hand. We're both flailing around. Yeah, that's good. I got him right where I want him.
And can I have your passive defense, please? A body roll versus 3.
And am I doubling it or no?
No, it's just your passive defense.
2 dice versus 3. Okay, that's good. Let's see if we can get 3 successes on 2 dice. We've gotten. Let's see. We don't have a dice cam here, but let's help the people at home out.
No successes.
No successes.
3 non-lethal, which, if my math is correct, puts me
It's
down
over my
in
strength.
negative.
Yeah. It
Fortunately,
if I have Die Hard, which is
Yes.
it's good. So I believe I can still act, but I will still take the penalties. So I'm down to I think I'm right down to 0 at this point. I'm taking 1 lethal and 4 nons at this point.
Oh, I see. So you're just at 0. Okay. So you now have the tactical choice of act or move or defend.
Right.
You're dangling here. And this creature is panicking, and in flailing around is very likely to continue to inflict damage on the gondola and you.
Right. And that's not a good thing. Yeah, this time I have to shoot. I mean, I got
All right. Well,
I don't see
you're
any
at point
other-
blank range, which gives you an extra die,
Right.
but it's still awkward. So it's just -1 die instead of -2 dice.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. Yeah. This is all your fault, Rex. You wanted to get married outside. I said, no, let's do an inside thing. It's a lot. I said, no, it'll be grand. It'll be fantastic. This is all your fault. I swear to God, when I get back with you, we're going to talk. So that is 5.
All right. 5. 5 legitimately does damage. Sinking into the meat before it erupts. Boom. I need you to make another passive defense roll.
All right.
As you're sprayed with ichor, and as this body drops away, slamming into the net, sending it now swaying and circling, right? As he tumbles down into the mist.
It's going to be a danger magnet. Yeah. Okay. Fantastic here.
I remembered.
Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, well, this time it's 2 successes.
Yeah. All right, so you only take 1 non-lethal.
Okay, 1 non-lethal. So now I'm down to negative. Okay,
1 blow, and you gain 2 style for being magnetic to such danger. I could say that this has caused you and your companion some inconvenience.
Slight.
Back to the bridge.
Slight.
Rex says, no more of your cheap tricks, Utron. You've surrendered or claimed to honor. And I race towards him, taking the steps 2 at a time, and I lunge at him with my lightning blade.
Awesome attack.
Maybe I jump off the thing. Can I leverage in my acrobatics, or does that?
Yes, please.
Yes.
For the love of God, leverage in whatever you got. This really hurts hanging out of this thing, man.
That's 6 dice, and it's 2 for the synergy.
Yep.
Let's see. That's 8 dice that I'm rolling. I think I'm going to spend.
You need to include the weapon damage as well.
Oh, yes, I do. So that's 11 die?
Yep.
It's 9 plus 2 is 11. Okay, hang on. I can't do maths in multiple languages. I need to do it in Spanish.
That's okay.
So let's put in a style point. Why not? And just keep adding dice here.
Yeah.
1 style point. Yeah.
That's a nice round.
Yeah. So
roll dice that have even numbers on them. Make sure you grab those dice.
I hope so. Let's do the dice cam. Here we go.
All right.
Uh-oh. There we go. This is no good.
I see some evens.
This is no good. This is no good. Ooh. All of these are good. 9 successes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing. Well, he had a whole speech prepared.
Oh, you got him while he was monologuing.
Yeah.
So he's not dead, but he can be fully skewered, or he's incapacitated by this and will not be able to continue the fight. So how is it that you overcome him in your exchange?
Yeah, so I lunge at him, and maybe he parries, and we go back and forth a little bit, and finally I run him through probably the abdomen, the upper abdomen. I just run him through, and he collapses to the floor, crackling with the lightning from the blade. And,
yeah.
And he's out twitching on the floor. So then I turn my blade around and I look at the crew and I say, I have defeated your captain. By the laws of your own brotherhood, I claim authority over this vessel. We will turn around now and release the hostages.
Nice.
You keep saying that.
So the crew can't see it, but you can. The 2 glistening black sky riders landing slowly, perfect 3-point landings on the deck, derezzing to form into Utran's personal guard. And down below, you're hanging on, if, of course, you can retain consciousness.
Yeah, I can because I have Die Hard.
All right, then.
Yeah. I took it because I knew this was going to happen.
So you're dangling down below. You're facing this dual threat up above. And at that point, the theater lights come up. The music comes on. And the kids are invited to come back next week for more of Skyriders and the Mist Pirates of Venus Chronicles serial.
That's fantastic.
Awesome.
I think we both missed a couple of really important days in the Venusian Lancers tactical classes. That was fantastic. Not bad.
So what do you think of Ubiquity kind of after you've earned some XP?
Yeah, it's always fun. Ubiquity is always, it's light, it's the style point system is important. As long as the economy is flowing right, you can always boost up
important moments.
Yeah. I for the first time playing Ubiquity, I took my 30 points and I dumped them into talents. And I already had a talent for because of the template that we used. So right. I already had finesse attack fencing, so using dexterity for fencing, which is great. I took danger sense, which is a fantastic talent. I love it because it's so genre.
Yeah.
It goes with danger magnet, right? Which so this is he's always aware. So that's awesome. And the last one I took is charismatic. I was between charismatic and attractive because they do the same thing basically.
Yeah.
So and both are genre.
We could have some fun with the crew with that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it adds to the whole genre thing, the talents. So that's pretty cool.
Ivan, this guy's a little bit juicier than Philippe Moreau, but of a type, I guess we could say.
Right. Yeah. No, definitely. I've had experience at least like amping a character up. I don't think I've bought any extra talents with him, but I started off with a couple already. But yeah, that's it's cool. I mean, I like the system, so the neat part is you can amp somebody up quite a bit in an area, and you can still fail spectacularly. I mean, it's not.
That's true. I'm living proof.
Right, exactly. But hey, man, I had these moments too. I'm rolling like 12 dice and getting 3 successes or whatever, and you can have these moments like, oh crap, that just really blows. So, I like it because it does end up producing those moments of I can't believe that just happened. Both ways. Sometimes you really succeed, where it's just incredibly improbable, and sometimes you don't. I think that might be the most style points I've ever spent in one moment.
I think so.
Yeah, I usually don't spend that many, but that was one of those things. I think either this is going to work really well, or it's going to be the dumbest death I've had in a long time. As I slam into the earth at full speed, So
and
this whole experience. Oh, sorry. Go on.
And even so, you roll like 13 dice, and you can still get like 3 successes. It's like 3 successes out of 13 dice. It's ridiculous.
What happened to all this? Take the average stuff.
Yeah. So it's fun.
And I loved how happy you were when you rolled 2 successes on 2 dice. I mean, that is the critical hit. That's the exploding roll. That's the thing. People think, there's no crit. No, there's that moment right there where you max out the roll.
It happened to both of us, right? Because Ivan rolled it just now, and I rolled it like in the attack where it was take 2 dice off, and I kept taking 2, and I'm like down to 2, and both come up 2 and 6, and it's like yes.
I like it. I love it. This whole experience was improvised. Right. This came from some ideas that have been floating around the back of my head for a Venus kind of setting, like a Flash Gordon, Saturday pulp cereal situation. Not really sure what to do with it or when. And how much time from when I made the pitch to when we started to play did we have?
15 minutes tops. 10.
The characters were created. I'm just curious how you went from being sent the Sky Pirate template to having a character in your mind, like in terms of that, generating, because your characters were different, and came out different, and you guys are playing differently than you've played other characters that we've done together. So, where did that come from, or how did that manifest? He said, putting you on the spot.
Well, I'll start because Ivan looks like he's thinking. So,
now just wait for you to start, man.
Yeah. Well, the direction was pretty good. You said, Sky Pirates, so Flash Gordon. So I immediately go to that place, right, where memories of those old black and white things and my dad used to see in the theater. But for some reason, I think they had a couple of those episodes on TV when I was a kid. And so my mind goes to the era and the look, and immediately I'm seeing these. It's sort of like a space 1889, is it? Which one is it?
Yep.
It's like sort of like British imperial look to the guys, right, with sabers and the lightning sabers.
It became that as soon as you suggested it, yeah.
Yeah, and when you said the lightning swords, the name comes up right immediately. Lightning swords, lightning cannons. It sort of feels like that. Yeah. So Venus. I have images of Venus from I don't know, the Buck Rogers 25th century game, which is basically a terraformed Venus. I know this is pulp, so it's not terraformed. It's just naturally like that. So I'm thinking the high mountains, the colored mists obscuring the lowlands, and so I'm thinking immediately survival, right? So these guys may need survival, so I took survival and athletics for climbing and jumping and doing all that stuff. And the last thing I said is these guys are swashbuckly, so there must be some flair. So the next thing that came to mind was empathy for intuition, and that's where the charismatic talent came in. It's like, I'll make him charismatic because I don't know how to drill down on skills for that. But if I pump up the charisma, then I can do the charismatic flares. The flaw that the character had was vain in the template, and that's like perfect. It's perfect. Plus danger sense, because this, danger magnet, danger sense, anything with danger on front of it, it's probably a good fit for swashbuckly pulp.
Perfect.
And that's it, immediately. And then it's just coming up with a name, Rex. It's the first thing that popped to mind, and Zoltan for some reason. And you said get a name for the bride, and it's like Vivian Lee, and I guess so it's Vivian. It's a good name for Vivian. Yeah. So, and that's basically where that came from. I think I had some Flash Gordon toys, maybe back in the '80s, or a friend of mine had them, and the guy was dressed in like. It wasn't the Flash Gordon toys from the movies. It was Flash Gordon toys from like Flash Gordon.
Right.
So I think they had sort of like the British Imperial uniform
and the riding boots and the whole nine yards.
So the image came fully formed into my mind, basically.
One of the things that grabbed me right away was that you latched onto the military or adventurism aspect, and were getting married in your uniform. And Ivan, as Briggs, went, clan honor and that sort of thing. I thought that was like already the characters started to differentiate themselves within seconds of play starting. I thought that was cool.
There's Pirates of the Caribbean in there. There's Flash Gordon. There's Space 1889. There's a couple of things just boom, boom, boom falling into place. Yeah.
What do you think, Ivan?
Right, that was cool. I mean, the same thing. Like literally, the pitch was, I'm sitting there at the gym going, "How does Skyriders of the Mist of Venus Chronicle grab you?" That's like the pitch. So I'm like, "Yeah, that'd be cool." And so instantly, I'm thinking just like absolutely over the top.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, well, and I know to myself, well, gosh, Eloy likes a thoughtful character. Okay, well, that's taken care of. I can just be the jerk. But we get the
You started out to make a jerk.
not exactly a jerk, but just somebody that's a little bit more confident and a little bit more physical. And you gave us the template, straight out of this, the Sky Pirate, which helped.
Yeah.
So you don't have to build a guy from the ground up, but gave us some extra XP to mess around with. So, he didn't have athletics. I figured I'd put that in there because those synergize really well, and that's that whole swashbuckly jumping around, And I think I upped his fencing, and I think that was it. I kind of spent. I figured, you know what, maybe we'll have some swashbuckling. As it turned out, I was just holding onto a crowbar and holding it for dear life. But that's cool,
That was interesting.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was just the name Catsine was well, that was just because of the spelling, voice of text misadventure. Everybody calls him Kathy. Yeah, I make Kathy's all the time. I said character. I swear I said character, but the phone said I thought I said Kathy. Okay, I don't care whether you guys call him Gatsy or not, but it was just I just more had in my head. I'm thinking of Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow, or Buck Rogers, or just a bunch of pulp serials, and I don't want to say the characters are shallow, but there's a certain level of they're not going to be discussing their feelings all the time, other than Lita. No,
they're vehicles for action. They are
right.
There are archetypes, I guess.
Right. So I figured I'd go with a fellow like that, and I really hadn't even considered that we would be part of the Venusian Lancers, but at that point, Eloy's describing his character that way, and I'm thinking of my fellow's probably a little bit more of a scoundrel, but okay, I'm a Lancer too, yeah, but I just happen to have more of the clan honor, so it's our wedding, we can dress whatever we want.
Yeah.
And
the green mantas of Venus.
Yeah, that was fantastic. That was a good touch. So all of that together, it just I kind of rode with it, and the guy kind of emerged, literally as a reaction to what was going on. And so I didn't realize he was going to be that much of a daredevil until the rubber met the road. I'm like, okay, yeah, he's going to be a bit more of a, even right down to the point where you said, "What's your tactic?" And I just blurted out, "Okay, cover, you draw them away." And
then you did the opposite. That was
it was great. Well, because I hadn't really considered. I took the flaws of Danger Magnet, which I just think is always fun. Like that's one of those things that's like this is going to cause you a lot of trouble.
That's why they attacked you.
Correct. Oh, I get it. And but in the moment, I wasn't really thinking that. Every once in a while I look down and go, "Oh yeah, Danger Magnet. Yeah, this is why. Why do things keep happening to me? Oh yeah, that's why." And Die Hard, I've learned, is a very useful talent in Ubiquity, because in All for One, I've been hurt many, many times to the point where I'm in the negatives, and it's not having to stabilize, not having to take all of the penalties.
Yeah.
That are associated with getting that hurt.
This close to taking it, but then I saw you took it, and it's like, nah, let's do something different, for fun, right? If this were a campaign, that would be my next talent if this were a campaign. So
I don't feel pain. I'm too vain for pain.
Exactly.
For me, I had nothing planned. I hit on, after I made the pitch, I had as we were talking about, I had the idiom plan. I knew what everything looked like, but there was no thing. So you guys said, yeah, okay, the pitch sounds fine. I said, great. So how can we start out in action? Randomly, the idea came to me, wedding. And then a few minutes later, I decided I wouldn't pick just one of you. You're just a joint wedding, and so now I'm starting to get an image of who these guys are, and then Eloy starts describing his character. So now we have Venusian Lancers. We didn't have Venusian Lancers before, and they've got this red, white, and gold theme. So now they're even more over the top than what I had imagined. And then we've got the clan of the Manta. I can't remember what you called them, but this is this brilliant green Manta clan. And so now we're back in the kind of really weird science fiction that I had planned. So we've got maybe a colonial force that's trying to tame this land, and then it's so hard that on the frontier people have completely broken away from civilization, so they mutated from over the top kind of John Carter of Mars aerial pirates or Hollow Earth Expedition Revelations of Mars aerial pirates into Mad Max on Venus. Somehow that happened as I was talking.
Yeah, that imagery was great. Just the makeshift ship, and then using the cranks to pull the turrets around me. Instantly, I'm like, oh yeah, I know exactly what this looks like.
I was thinking rust and spikes and shrapnel and sharp edges. It was very
And then I thought, once we started getting going, I couldn't remember what time we had started, and I knew we had a hard end time. So I reached a point that felt like the end of a serial, and I said, man, that's it.
Yeah, sure. Oh yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, that's a good place to end. Holding on for dear life with -1. Helping.
Yeah, I got enemies behind me, but I have danger sense, so that'll be fine.
Yeah. That was a good play. That was great. Well, it was really neat to see the genre kind of crystallize over time. Like get brought into sharper and sharper focus, as we started to play, and as you described more stuff. And did I know that you didn't have all that stuff planned in the beginning? No, I mean in terms of like how things looked, but it got sharper and sharper as we went. So how much we were riffing off each other, that's kind of opaque. You can't see everything because you can only see into your own head.
Right.
But so that was pretty cool. But of course, it did seem like a great place to end because literally at that point it's like, well, what do you do, Eloy? Well, there's all kinds of things. Ivan, what do you do? Well, I hang on. Well, okay. Well,
yeah. Yeah, but it's this is a perfect setting. When you improvise like this for introducing elements. Like setting elements. This is why I went with the uniform, and as soon words go out and lancers, immediately my mind goes to the imperial British thing, right? So it's regiment, lancers, boots, riding boots. It's all word association, right, with the genre. And so this is the perfect thing where it was collaborative world building on the fly, which I think was mutated Anthony's original conception of the thing, but I think this is a perfect way to go about it. I don't know.
Yeah, that was exactly what I hoped for. Like, you notice that I ran it in a way that is not like strictly Ubiquity. When you got a lot of successes, I said, yeah, so what happens, which runs the risk in a high energy, high octane pulp game of hitting a sudden trough or slowdown if someone is unable to respond. Every time you lob it at them, what's a traditional let's say game master responsibility to narrate off of the dice and say, yeah, tell me what you do. There's two risks that I feel, or I notice. One, that you might startle the person and they freeze or choke, or two, they might not enjoy describing it back to you. They want to hear more about what the villain is doing from a position of not knowing what the villain is doing. They don't want to tell me what the villain is doing. They want to hear and react to what the villain is doing. So like normally in a sword fight, we will narrate through it where I'm describing a response to what the character is doing. Right, the character says, I thrust, and I describe how it's deflected, and they describe another attack based on that, and they don't know when I'm going to suddenly have damage appear in the villain. So for them, it's all an experience of winning their way through. They know that their role beat my role, but they don't know how exactly it's going to turn out, and so that's a different way to do it, but that can confuse people too. And so I just thought, just for fun, I would throw out the, you guys are going to narrate big successes, and I might riff on them a little bit, but and I'll handle the failures. But
that's something we've discussed before in the setting of the PBTA, in the what was it, Uncharted Worlds, where we ran into that. Thinking more about this thing, it doesn't bother me. So here's the deal. It bothers me in Uncharted Worlds because I think the way we did it, it would be starting from cold, right? Like roll the dice and then narrate what happens. It's the exact same thing, but the order is different. First, there was a little build-up. So, we have a few passes. He shoots at me. I go over the thing. I run back up the stairs. The setting and the area is quite crystallized. So when the moment for the narration comes, it's not starting from cold. It's been going on for a little bit. And then, after a couple of passes, is okay, you succeed, narrate. And that's fine. That's kind of the Fantasy Flight Star Wars Genesis mindset as well.
Sure.
Right? Make up some details because you succeeded. It's also the Burning Wheel mindset of, you succeeded. What did you want to accomplish? Tell me how you accomplish it because you succeeded. So I think the key element here was there was a little bit of buildup. So we're, it's like doing exercise. You got to warm up first and loosen up, right? And once it's been going, it's got a little bit of momentum, then yeah, sure, take it to its natural conclusion. And that doesn't bother me at all. If it had been from, okay, there's a pirate and he's there and he's got a sword, roll initiative, roll to hit, okay, you succeed, tell me how the fight goes. The entire fight? It's starting from...
What does he look like?
Yeah, it's starting from cold as opposed to starting from warmed up. I don't know.
Right on. And, I mean, I had the moment, I think I had the ridiculous number of successes, with the con piloting, and then pulling back up. I had that split second. I'm like, oh, that's a little unconventional. And I figured, well, gosh, let me just check to make sure I understand that some of them are actually dying. Okay. And then, I was comfortable with that, was that like kind of half second of indecision in my head, like, okay, then I was comfortable doing that, but just kind of leaving this opening and not narrating that every single one of them was dead, and just kind of maybe pausing and saying, do you want to insert something here rather than narrating how every single one of them blows up and you say, oh no, well actually these two, you want to avoid that kind of uncomfortable moment. But yeah, I was like, yeah, this is cool. We should do this some more.
Cool.
After like a split second moment of hesitation, I'm like, okay, yeah, all right, right on. Just okay, some of them die. All right, yeah, it worked. Yeah, and I'm thinking to myself now, well, yeah, it was a successful con roll at that point. Yeah, makes sense. Some of them didn't do so well. It's
supposed to be a dangerous environment. There should be some danger.
Right, exactly. So I think, for me, it's just my algorithm is like do it with enough breaks to allow the game master to insert, it's kind of like the same thing you do very often as a game master, where you kind of pause for a second and, with that kind of, expectation. If the player, the signal is kind of, as a player, if you want to say something, this is a good time. This,
yeah,
so to speak. So I thought it was cool.
Glad you liked it.
Right. Yeah.
Fun. Sorry about your wives.
Oh, they're still alive.
I don't know, man. Yeah, that was the part that we, the other part, like the visceral part, like any kind of real emotional part, was like, realizing that we're dealing with toxic Venusian atmosphere, and as these people are bubbling, and that's the moment where here I am, I'm the pulp character having the pulp experience, and that's not oh dear. So there's that moment of real actual terror as the character. It's not just a Perils of Pauline sort of, it's like, oh man, these people are really dying. This is bad.
Yeah.
That's
one part that's often overlooked about the pulps, especially the literature, was the very high death count, and the stakes are incredibly high, and as the series goes on, you get a sense of just what a razor's edge these heroes are, like the Shadow, the Spider, whatever. And they were traumatized, they were shaped, they were formed by experiences that happened long before the book started. Right, so they're not there to go through some kind of character arc. They're not there to develop. They're there to act, and they are shaping the world around them. And the Shadow is cleaning up the streets, and there will be an effect. There will be a reckoning. The Spider even more so. He's insane. He's psychopathic. He's gunning them down as fast as he can, and then marking them with a stamp. And then on the other side, we've got, Doc Savage, who will do no harm. But again, he was developed long before. So these characters kind of spring full blown onto the pages. And there's something about that I like. So I wanted to have that experience today for some reason, rather than, like do a mock combat or have a panel discussion or whatever, or with our free time. So kind of like, yeah, well, let's quickly generate characters, see if they manifest in play. Let's see if these crazy ideas about Venus I have actually hold together and it will actually come out of my mouth live. And that was kind of cool. It was fun to share that with you.
That's neat. I mean, that was one thing I was thinking of too. Is there is that it's easy when you're playing pulp, or getting that mindset to be too flippant, or and that was kind of a cool reminder that these are actual real people that are actually really being boiled alive by God knows what elements of the atmosphere. and one of them in there is your blushing bride, and so like because it can be very easy when you're playing something like Hollow Earth or whatever to get that really very like quippy one-liner sort of thing, and your experience as a character can be a little shallow. So that helps. I kind of dig that.
And
of course, go on.
The setting was fantastic. I think it was built on the fly, but it was very evocative. The whole lightning blade concept, because it's not a lightsaber, it's not a sword, it's somewhere in between, right? It's an electric sword, but you're not going to call it an electric sword. It's a lightning blade, and that, it's just like the Skyrider, right? It's I was picturing like a rocket ship with fins and stuff like that. Very Buck Rogers or Flash Gordon, the old ones, not the new ones, the ones with a little smoke that would go up like the sparks. Yeah, that's what I was picturing. So it's and the pirates and the swirling atmosphere. In some ways, it's even, I can't say more evocative. It's just as evocative as Mars, right? As the setting. It's and the fact that the mists hide the lowlands, right? So there could be anything down there. It could be swamps. It could be forests. It could be anything. And I don't know. It's a good setting. I really liked it. I went from like completely cold, half asleep, like pirates, Venus, Venus. What the hell, Venus? Sure, why not?
It was very enthusiastic.
And then it just. But it ramped up, right? I can be talked into anything, though. So, I'm probably not a good metric for anything, So, but I got ramped up real quick on the setting. Yeah.
The funny part about serials is they had real revisionism at the end of them. Like you see the hero in the car as it goes off the cliff, and you see him in the car off the cliff in the air as the car explodes, and then next week he rolls out of the car before it goes off the cliff. It's like, how does that happen?
Yeah,
massive amounts of style.
Yeah.
That's how the old White Wolf adventure game worked. Like you were actually doing dramatic editing. And so the game says this happens unless
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Alrighty, fellas, well, I better get ready to get going.
All right.
That was a hoot.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking the time.
Perhaps we'll find out what happens next time.
Whoa.
Sure. We'll keep it on the back burner for the emergency gaming with Anthony.
That's a fantastic one.
Hopefully we can play All for One or the next Circle of Hands thing next.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna get right on that. So have that ready.
Take care, guys.
Take it easy.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.